Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready for racing. Green Hell Racing League. And we are looking at Donington Park today for a 45-minute race. 20 minutes of qualification. We will be getting started shortly, around about 12:45. But between now and then, to take a look and as we try and do here, give some idea. I will tell folks that trying to find information on Donington is not easy. I mean, obviously there's a Wikipedia page and there's things like this, but to find like the history of the track in a video or anything, I was unable to find that. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Donington Park, unlike so many of these other tracks that we've raced this season, Donington Park has not really been in use very long. It's been around just as long. It was built in the 1930s between World War I and II. Then during World War II, used as a vehicle storage depot for various military vehicles, I would assume. However, after the war, the track and the surrounding area really went into disrepair, fell out of use. And it really wasn't until about 2010 that the family that originally owned it, the company that they owned, of course, one of these wealthy British families, started putting things back together. And that really started in 2009. And 2010 is when things really started to come back to the track. And I have a feeling that's why we don't see as much of the same history as we have with some of the other tracks and being able to find that information. But that said, we do have, as we always do, Unleashed Drivers track guide to show you exactly what the guys will be dealing with during today's race.
Hey everyone, it's Brandon again, and here we are at Donington in the new British DLC for ACC, coming out their final corner, nothing too special there. Looking to the first corner now, we can go a little bit over the line on the left, and we're going to look towards that pit exit lane, and we're going to brake about halfway in that, maybe a tiny bit on the early side. Now for this first corner, you do want to brake late, and you want to have a late apex because you don't want to cross over the curb and go into the grass, because if you come back over the curb again, then the car will bounce around and you have a bad exit. But you do want to go deep into this corner, have late apex, use all the curb, and use all the track onto the AstroTurf on the left. Again, don't go onto the dirt because that'll give you a slower exit. Now we've got a little bit of time to prepare for the fast right-hander which is coming up. That'll be the next braking zone. On the left-hander here, keep it all the way to the left, giving us a nice line for the next corner. Braking in a straight line, we'll be braking just a touch before that board on the right, which is our braking reference. Using all the track again, almost all the way up to the curb on the left, then back to the right, using almost all of the AstroTurf on the right. But we don't want to go all the way up to the poles because it gets a bit bumpy there, and we'll have a similar issue as before with the bouncing around. We don't want that. Use all the exit road as well. You can possibly use a little bit of the dirt if you have to. I'd say keep it on the grippy stuff, that's best. All the way to the right, giving us a nice line for this left turn. We're going to give ourselves a nice straight braking zone here, braking a little bit after the braking board, or braking marker on the right, which is that board. You want to brake deep into this corner now, have another late apex. I mess it up here. I actually cut over the curb going onto the grass. This is what you really want to avoid, specifically on this corner, because it's a real problem. When you come back over the curb again, you'll get flicked up. I luckily get away with it here somehow, But I'd say brake a tiny bit later than I did here. Have a later apex. Use all the curb. Don't go over the curb because it gets a bit bumpy. Over here, don't go too wide onto the AstroTurf because I noticed the rear gets a bit loose and it's easy to spin there if you go too wide. This corner doesn't have any strong reference points for braking, unfortunately, but if the track's rubbered in, there's a bit of rubber on the track you can use, and then there's actually an orange mark on the fence, which you can also use as a reference point. And if you look a little bit closer, there's a patch of rubber on the curb right there, which is exactly along the braking point that I use. And I think if the track's rubbered in, you could probably use that, but overall, not very many strong reference points. For this corner, you can cut a lot of this curb. Go mostly over the AstroTurf. You could possibly use just a tiny bit more than it, but again, we might have a similar issue with the bouncing around. Here, this corner reminds me a little bit of the final corner on Monza. If you're carrying enough speed, you can use all the track. If you have the grip, take a narrower line. It just depends on how you've taken the corner at that time. And here we go, coming up to the chicane. This corner you have to be extremely precise on. Going to brake just as the track starts going downhill after this board on the right, actually about halfway between these two boards. And now you want to keep this chicane as straight as possible. You can't touch that, you can't hit that black tire thing there. You can possibly just skim it very lightly, but I'd say, yeah, try avoid that at all costs. And then on the exit, you can cut a lot of this. You can go almost touch the sand without getting an invalidation. Cut as much of that as you can, straighten it up. And here we go to the final two corners. Kind of basic corners, but they're very, very vital for lap time. Brake a little bit after this board on the left, and then we're going to be hard on the brakes to the hairpin. Trail braking as well. Don't accelerate too early because you'll go wide. Patient, let the car grip up, get the car straightened up a bit. Traction control might kick in a little bit, but there you go. You're on your way to the final corner. Now here we also don't have many strong reference points for braking, but I noticed the track dips down just a tiny bit where the braking point is. So if you can feel that, brake as the car hits that bump or dip in the track. And here we go, keep tight on this final corner, let the car grip up again, and as you can feel it's gripping up, that's when you put the throttle down, have a nice clean exit. And that was a 26.5. I think I could go a bit faster than that, a few tenths. This is just on the default setup, by the way, with a couple adjustments like tire pressures to match the conditions, and I just put the brake pads down to 1. Yeah, I did do a quicker lap, but it was a little bit messier. It wasn't as smooth. I like to do smooth laps for these lap guides, so I still think the lap was good. I'll let you guys watch this lap without me talking. I'll see you very shortly. Stick around for a pit entry guide at the end of this lap, and a couple other bits of information. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the pit entry, which is actually very easy. Take the final corner as per normal, and you'll see a little bend on the white line on the left there, right there. And you brake just alongside there, and that should be perfect for a braking point. Coming into the pits, you'll see 50k per hour right on the line, just like that. I just wanted to come back to the chicane real quick because it's one of the most important corners of the course for lap time. First, I'm going to show an ideal line. I've carried as much speed as I can through the corner, keeping the corner as straight as possible with as little turning input as possible. Second, I'm going to show a line where I've turned too early, which means I have to turn more and exit so I don't cut the corner. That's a bit slower. Another scenario is where I've waited too long to turn in, so I've squared up the corner a little bit more, which means I have to turn more and I've slowed down too much. There they all are together. You can see the green line sits in the middle. It's nice and smooth. That's your fastest line through the corner. It'll take practice, but it's a very important corner to get right. So to end this video off, I think I need to talk about something quite important. For those of you who have followed this channel for quite a while now, you're probably aware that there's not been very many videos for quite a long time now.
And we will go ahead and pause it there. But again, that is Drivers Unleashed who posts these to YouTube. So if you are looking to get better at driving these various courses, I suggest you go and take a look. And we have gotten all the track information we can. And there you see a map. Obviously a very curvy track today, right? Some of them a bit smoother. Coming up here along turns 2, 3, and 4, even through 5 and 6. They're not real sharp, but as we saw in that video, lots of places to cut very hard. And the chicane being one of them where we're probably going to see some poles fly today, if I had to guess. And with that, I am just waiting to see here that we've got joiners to the server, and we will start heading over that way and look to get everyone on board and go watch some qualifying today. So already the field building. We've got 11 drivers so far. I think it's just a 15-minute qual, so I apologize. But a 45-minute race. Pit stop is required. Whoops. And I took that away on you guys. Pit stop will be required for this one. So we will be seeing everyone come into the pits at some point. No times as of yet, obviously. As we take a look at Dan 00 Alpha. And just so I've mentioned it again, guys, I saw a notification. Dan is streaming today's race. Just going through these real quick to see if I can catch any others. But I'll continue to watch for those notifications. And again, you can use multitwitch.tv to go and take a look. Steadfast as well. We'll be streaming today's race along with Dan 00 Alpha. Those are the notifications I have seen so far. So go give those guys some love and support. Make sure you follow here. It's much appreciated as we go and start watching for times to come through. And you can see Steadfast's name there if you're wondering how to spell that for Twitch. It is the same. Take a moment here and go play with cameras for qualifying. Again, dealing with the limitations on Xbox, I'm going to try and get you guys the best views I can. So Dan 00 Alpha, Electric ECC, who we did not see yesterday, has joined today's paddock. Red Rider up there, 1883. Doc Fork, again, we didn't see him yesterday, but he is in today. Stolowski, Nat JB, who we both saw run yesterday, both in the same vehicles. Stolowski driving that Audi and Nat in the Bentley. McDaddy XL, we didn't see him run yesterday, but he is back to run today. Kipster, we saw him yesterday in the Audi. Mux Kuth, BK Ferrari, Steadfast. Good to see Pierre coming back. Always like watching him. BB Lightfoot now coming out of the pits. And we have a late joiner here coming in now. We'll see who that is. But no time set in the first 3.5 minutes of qual. Thorn Geek has joined the track again. So we take a look. This helicopter view really gives us an idea too of what the track looks like. And again, you can see these guys cut these corners and see if they make those lines that we saw in the track guide as they start to move around for qual. McAlpin has joined our paddock today, bringing us up to 15 drivers. Hopefully a fuller session than yesterday, given that this is a 45-minute race. Fewer drivers means less racing, I guess, more just driving. And I'd much rather be able to see some good battles. And with that, we have our first time set by Electric ECC at a 1:29.5. I know from reading the Discord, listening to some of these guys talk, I know there are faster times out there. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Electric ends up setting a faster time than that as well. He does have pace. With Red Rider at number 2, just 2.7 off the pace in that bright red Mercedes as he dips into the grass. And this lap will not count for Red Rider. Mux Kuth quickly knocking Red back into third, less than a second off the pace of Electric. And again, times start to come in. Steadfast is up there as well. Again, nudging red, putting himself into third with a 2.4 off the pace. Stolowski does not disappoint in that Audi. Put himself six tenths off pace, but we did see he had trouble yesterday. In talking to him towards the end of the race, we saw he hit. He said he hit a curb, and it tossed him at Snetterton. And we will see if the same fate befalls him today, as Dan and McDaddy have now both clocked times as well. And it looks like Electric's pushing for another lap as Nat JB jumps up to front with a 1.283. Do we ever not see Nat on pole? I don't know that we do. Doc Fork right behind Electric in third now, as he looks to send another lap around coming out of the pits, or coming around by the pits, I should say. BK Ferrari setting the time. Seems slow for him. I think we'll see him pick that up if he has a clear track in front of him. Where's the Charb Master? Yeah, we don't see Max Charb today. I know he couldn't make it yesterday, but certainly hoping we were going to see him today. We'll see if he's able to make the rest of the season, as we see a couple guys off track now. Yellow flags a-flying in Sector 2. And I've yet to see Chief Blaze join the paddock. And drivers starting to stack up around BK Ferrari, and hopefully he's able to get himself a clear lap at some point to get a little higher up in the standings. Take a quick look at the timetables and see if someone, Nat JB again holding all three purple sectors, and it gives you some idea of the comparison there as to where everyone else is running, because even Stolowski, it doesn't take much to be far off, right? But he's losing half a second in Sector 2, really pushing most of that 7 tenths off of him in putting him in second. Pierre now out on track. Most of our drivers have now set times. Nat JB down to a 1.283, and Stolowski did tighten it up a little bit. That was around, excuse me, that was around 9 tenths when he first got around. So he's tightened it up a little. And that's true. I forgot Chief Blaze will not be joining us today. As we watch Pierre come around, hopefully able to set a time along with Thorngeek and McAlpin in the Porsche. And again, Stolowski not giving up. He's tightened it up to 5 tenths off of Nat. I just am curious if we're going to see Nat drop another second or even two. The lap guide we watched, the guy ran, what, a 126.5? And we all know Nat can drive. So I don't think this is going to be the lap, though. And as you can see, poles are already down. Poles are already down in the corners. I have no doubt that nobody will be leaving many standing the way this track drives and the way corners need to be cut. And we watch Stolowski there through the chicane. Very tight, but a very straight line for him. So Mux, Kipster, Red Rider, and McDaddy are all back in the pits, making adjustments now, I assume. Red Rider only 2.9 off the pace, but getting pushed back further and further as others tighten their times up. Electric still sitting in third, only 2 tenths off Stolowski, but Doc Fork a full 1.4 back off of Electric. as we watch the beauty of no collision in the pits with Muxkuth. So leaves just Pierre and Thorngeek yet to set clean lap times for qualifying. As we sit and watch, folks, just a quick mention, there will be, coming later today, I have been told, new time trial instructions for the next season of Green Hell Racing. People will be ready to get another season going, no doubt, but be sure and watch the Discord for those new instructions. I was told they would be out today. Obviously, delays can happen, but there will also be a new point system for the next season. I don't know the details on that, but I have a feeling it's going to include points all the way through every position. Every position earns points, so leaving a race doesn't do you any good if you think, oh, I'm out of the top 10, what's the point of staying? Like we saw some folks do yesterday, like we've probably seen during every race. There will be points running through pretty much, I believe, every position all the way down the paddock. So, again, just taking off out of a race is only going to hurt you no matter what, even if you spend half of it sitting in the pits due to repairs from an incident or what have you. So again, keep an eye out for that today over on the Green Hell Racing Discord server. Anyone who doesn't race with Green Hell and wants to join us, the information's floating across your screen right there. I encourage you to take a look when you have an opportunity.
Beautiful job, man. You're correct.
Red Rider joins us. And there's that Discord
I had to get
there.
my quali lap in before I joined. That was faster than any of my practice laps, so
I'm
happy with it.
You call that a quali lap?
Right
Call that a quali lap, do you?
that's the best I got for this track.
We watched Stolowski ripping through that chicane. I'm going to have to drive this. I have not driven this in ACC, as you and I talked about yesterday. Last time I drove this course was in Project Cars 2, and since joining Green Hell, I haven't touched that game. But
it's much different. Like, I only remember one corner being difficult, and that's like the one after you go through the sweeping right-hander, and then you've got that blind exit at the top of the hill.
Yep.
I remember struggling with that, and with this version, that's the corner I do the best on.
Really?
I have more trouble with the last corner getting the apex right because it's a late apex and a late entry, and I struggle with that and the hairpin. I have trouble with those, and I never have that on Project Cars 2. It's amazing how much different the track is.
Wow. And that's part of my thing with this is how much quote-unquote sim racing are we really doing sometimes, if games can vary so wildly. By the way, your microphone's gone a little wonky as we watch Nat JB take out the McLaren sign coming down into the hairpin.
I'll switch him.
And
I'll
just
stay on during the race. I don't have high hopes for this one.
as he just rolls back out on the track. Stolowski's still half a second off of Nat's pace at this point, with Electric and Fork right behind them, although Electric's right there with him. Fork again with that 1.4 off the pace. It's weird to see him back that far off a pole, so we'll see. With only a minute and a half left in qual, and him in the pits, I'm going to have to say that time is going to stick. And we will see if Muxkuth can maybe bump him back to number 5 here real quick at the end. Kipster up in number 6 right now.
Seeing the split, I think we got a couple guys that are going to be pro this season that weren't last.
Oh, I have a feeling.
BK Ferrari, for one, he's gotten incredibly fast in the last few races.
He has.
And Kipster, who's a new join, he seems to be pretty quick, although maybe needs to look at our rules a little bit better, but leave it at that.
Well, but again, right, we come and bringing this group together. There's a lot of people with a lot of different driving styles, and the more I watch, the more you know who they are, right? We all know Fork and Electric are very aggressive. To not, and that's not even saying that about their detriment to other drivers, but even to themselves, right? These guys will throw themselves off the track instead of giving up the 3/10 in that corner. Stolowski, very aggressive, but I find, again, I've had him, I mentioned it during yesterday's race, when I have him behind me, I don't feel as though I'm in imminent danger. He's going to play the patient game, right?
Right.
So again, all these different styles come together, and we got to, people got to make it work, and we'll certainly see how that works out as we move forward through the new season. Are you able to share any details about the new season and the length, the tracks, anything?
I don't want to confuse it, and I don't know what exactly 100% how all the format's going to be yet. We've tossed around a couple things.
Okay.
We had a vote for what tracks people wanted. Some of those are in there. Some of the highest ones are in there for this coming season. We don't have a concrete schedule yet. We are going to use, I think, from what I understand right now, we're going to use this coming week as a time for everybody to get their deltas to us, because it's going to be a multi-lap organized thing. And if you watch the videos, you'll see I tried to do the best to answer everyone's questions they might have, but if they watch the videos and still have a question, they can feel free to DM me, tag me in a chat, something. We'll get it sorted out, and if there's a question we need to answer, we'll add to that.
Excellent.
But the length everybody seems to want, what we're running now, or a little longer, which kind of surprised us. So I would assume the majority of that will be a 45-minute or longer race for most of the season. We might change it up for a couple races and make them a sprint race, couple of sprint races, or maybe an hour-long race instead of 45-minute. But it'll be mostly the same, just because that seems to be what everybody has voted for.
Gotcha. There you have it, folks. There's your starting lineup for the last race of the British versus German season. And I'd love to be able to tell you fine people where everyone is in the standings right now, but nobody posted last week's points standings. I think Red was in charge of that and decided not to.
No, I'm not, but that's okay. We don't want me in charge of the part. That's usually Tigo, and we didn't get him the accident fast.
Gotcha.
So he's got to have time to get that together. That's why we're also using this week as our just get everybody get the times together so that he's got a few days. We all have lives outside, so he's got other stuff to do.
No, for sure.
Give him a few days to get the times, and they'll go, okay, this is the average, and split between amateur and pro, and go from there.
Perfect.
And it's going to be a little more complicated this season for him to do that, as you will see after Zorax unlocks the thread that's got the instructions.
Okay.
I think it's for the better, because we're going to get a more accurate average. There's not going to be hey, this is my one fast lap that it took me 3 hours to do. It's definitely going to be a wider average of, we're going to see everybody's actual racing ability, times, skills per track, not just, wow, I did this one hot lap this week.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Excellent. Well, it'll be good to see that. And I will, again, not be participating, as it is summertime, but I will be more than happy to continue to cover them here, as I do enjoy that little bit. Quite a bit, actually. And this thing jacked up my camera again, so I'm hoping during... I should be able to switch it right after formation lap, folks. But it does look like we have the pulled back track cameras, and we should be able to see with focus on Mux, we should be able to catch the opening lap and opening corner. Now, the thing with Donington, again, Donington is not like a Monza or
20 seconds.
What do I want to say? And Imola, right, with a tight T1. Hopefully we get away from any incidents in lap 1 on this course, because it is a bit of a faster right-hander coming down off of the start-finish straight. Versus
I forgot to erase any spots for replays, so I have none. So if I tell you to hit replay, you don't mind.
I will jump in and hit replay, yes sir. Given that it captures everything, shouldn't matter who I'm focused on, so we should be good there.
Right.
And we'll see how this camera plays out. I may have to jump out and back in. There we go. And we got the tight camera. Damn it. Can I change it? I can. Perfect. Can't change cars, but I can change cameras.
The only issues I have had were if I go in play mode and come back out, then it screws up my time. Like,
okay.
I'm seeing the camera doesn't update fast.
Yeah.
It goes back to the update 2 corners behind.
Gotcha.
But if I don't touch that, I seem to be okay.
Yeah, you can't go to the garage till after the formation lap, so I try to pull the helicopter view for formation and lap 1, because then, and I can't change cars. So if I focus on, say, position 6, it gives me the widest view of everybody stacking up in T1 to
okay.
look for incidents.
Gotcha.
So the weather looks clear, ladies and gentlemen, for 30 minutes at least. Just cloudiness, no rain today. We are in the UK, so it's always possible, right?
Hey, you never know with this server. I can set it to no rain and it'll do it.
It'll do it anyway. That's why we call him Rain Man.
That's right.
If we ever move to
Not because
PC
of my
Red...
mathematical abilities.
No, not even a little bit. That's Tigo's job. No, if we ever move to PC, I'm gonna pay somebody to create a livery with a picture of Dustin Hoffman on the hood of your car. I think that would need to be done.
Or just one that has a sign in the back that says, "Kick me."
Right?
Because that's how everybody feels every time it starts raining. Well, not every. There's like 10 drivers after. Great, hey, thanks for adding the rain. And before the race even starts, somebody gets rid of the tire barrel at the king.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I said about, when we did the endurance race at Spa. It was like, rain, shit, okay. But then once we were driving, Chief and I were both like, it could stay like this the whole 2 hours, man. I found a groove and I'm good right now. And then it decided to stop raining, so.
Unfortunately, that's not how real racing.
Yeah,
So-
no, I know.
Although I would argue that they will set up the car a little differently if it quit raining, and you don't have the option for that, at least
At that,
Xbox.
I think
version.
that was the issue, was we couldn't change our setups now, and I'm stuck on
Right.
a wet setup with dry tires, and yeah, it got weird. As we go double file, coming around the finish straight. Here come the green lights, ladies and gentlemen. Off we go. Let's race one
got a
last time
horrible
for this
start.
season. Red, we're gonna let you drive. You interject when you can, sir.
Ooh, gosh. Alpine, man, what are you doing?
Into T1. Couple guys going wide. We got 3 across back here, and somebody took a bump back
That was
around
Dano.
number 7. So we open this up now, and hopefully I can... Yep, there we go. And we can start taking a look back through. Kipster right on the ass of Stolowski right now, and getting passed, though, by Electric on the inside. Those two side by side. Everybody is so tight right now. The incidents are gonna fly.
Following them, there is no room to get around them. Nothing.
Tires in the middle of the track through the chicane. Kipster sticking right along the 3 in front. Stolowski, Electric, and Mux. As we tighten up, going around the carousel and headed up to the hairpin.
Ah!
And there we have an incident.
Dano sent it. Somebody did.
Doc Fork is already in the pits.
Oh, I guess it was Mac Daddy.
Is
Mac
that who
Daddy
that
sent
was?
it on me in the hairpin, whether it was accident.
Looks like you made it
He
through,
looked
though.
like he missed his breaking point.
Yeah, but it looked like you made it through, and then he spun
I
himself.
I bumped him a little bit because I couldn't go anywhere. I saw him coming up on me, but I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Steadfast running. BK Ferrari coming up on Steadfast, making the pass. And now McAlpin making the move on Steadfast, or attempting to. Both of them coming back up on BK. And McAlpin makes it through that corner, pushing Steadfast just a little bit further down the line. It looks like Electric had an issue. He has now been passed up by, well, Muxkuth, Kipster, and BK. All getting around Electric ECC. With McAlpin now right on his tail. Steadfast not far back. And we see Dan 00 Alpha bringing it up. Here we go. And McAlpin up the inside of Electric ECC. A little bump, but racing incident. Nobody lost control. Side by side coming into the hairpin. McAlpin trying to hold the speed on the outside. Oh. And again, we've got guys dumping into the pits. Looks like Steadfast headed for the pits. And McAlpin pushing to the left onto Electric, but keeping it clean. And through T1 securing... Oh, no. Went wide and gave Electric the opening on the inside. And Electric has taken that position back. But McAlpin not giving up at this point. Sticking right to his bumper. Red Rider is right on the back of BB Lightfoot back there. We'll go take a look here in a second. And Mick Daddy sticking to Thorngeek as well. Electric now making the move again on McAlpin. This racing, folks.
Oh, God.
This racing. BB Lightfoot giving it to Red.
I don't think he's familiar with that Porsche yet.
McAlpin again going around. These two are just going to trade the whole race, the rest of the race. McAlpin going back around Electric in the carousel. Red Rider still sticking to the back of BB Lightfoot. Now Electric back in front. Back and forth and back and forth. Oh, but again, McAlpin went wide in T1. That's 2 laps in a row where he is just taking that. I think he's trying to brake wicked deep and ends up pushing himself out wide and having to lose too much speed on the exit. As we see, Electric has now pulled away, and that'll probably be over a second. And we take a look. Red Rider, BB Lightfoot opening up the gap on Red Rider as well.
Yeah, I had to fall back. I was gonna hit him. Way too.
It looks like Doc Fork is done. He is in the pits and has stayed there. Pierre has now entered the pits. Steadfast and Dan Double O Alpha have both cleared their pit stop at this point. So we'll see if Pierre chooses to do the same. I would certainly hope so. As we head back up front after 3 laps of racing, about 5 minutes gone. Nat JB, your pole winner, still sitting out front. Stolowski, the Stolowski, 1.8 seconds back. And from there, we head on down the line to Muxkuth, Kipster, and BK Ferrari in your top 5. McAlpin has come right back up on the rear end of Electric again, and I don't think he's going to let him keep that position. Yeah, Chief. It looks like he's been there the whole time. And Pierre's taken an extended period in the pits as well. So we'll have to see if he ends up back out on track or if that was an accident or what may have happened. He's back out. Okay. Oh, no. Pierre has dropped. Pierre has left us. We're down to 14 racers. Thorngeek heading up the rear end of Red Rider.
I see him. He gets close, I'm letting him around. He's faster than me.
No, come on now. We're here to race. This isn't.
I get that.
This is
dude.
racing, not let people around in. He is in the Audi though, so it's probably a lot faster than that car you're driving.
Yeah, it probably is.
That McLaren.
Can't run a German car both weekends apparently. Zorak's in his rules.
I thought you were in the Mercedes. Were you in the Mercedes last week?
I was. We weren't
Okay.
going to bring this up, but
Okay. No, I was trying. I was surprised when I saw the McLaren logo next to your name. That's why I say that. He's been in the pits the whole time. Well, Chief, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. McAlpin now he's almost a full second off the back of Electric. Has opened that up a little bit. Red Rider making the move on BB, or at least keeping it tight. Couldn't quite bring it around fast enough around the carousel as we head up into the hairpin. Nice 3-car race right here between BB Lightfoot, Red Rider, and Thorngeek. Oh, what did I do?
I don't think Fork ever left the pits. I
Oh,
think
God.
he's just sitting there
Oh,
coaching
Red.
Electric.
Red and has taken out BB Lightfoot, and Thorngeek
Come on,
goes
BB,
cruising
go.
on by. You need me to save that one, Red?
Can if you want. I'm sure he saved it, but
I couldn't. Honestly, I was just getting back to you. I had hit the wrong button on my controller,
that's
so I
fine.
didn't really catch what
God
happened,
damn
but
it.
I've got it for you if you need it. Was that you or was that him?
I'm not sure. He went way wide, and I tried to take the side, and he went back real hard.
Gotcha, okay. Red's not giving up. Still only 3/10 back off BB Lightfoot. Chief Blaze, thanks for joining the party, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
Hey, buddy.
You know, usual causing chaos.
Oh, let's take a look here. McAlpin trying to tighten it up on Electric right now, and they've got Thorngeek now. Oh, I'm sorry. That's McAlpin, Electric. Who was behind him? Oh, that is Thorngeek, okay. No, it's not. Who the hell is between them? Oh, well. Electric now running up on the back end of BK, with McAlpin trying to keep pace. Chief, how goes it today?
You have the new spectator password, don't you, Chief?
What's up?
I gave you the spectator password, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
And McAlpin spins himself off track. He's able to rejoin. Thorngeek's a good ways back, though. He should hold position. As we go back up to BK with Electric right up on him. Oh, and Electric has pushed BK way into the sand, way, way deep. He was able to rejoin. BK was able to rejoin safely. We've got a slow car on the back side of the track, too. Let's see.
Hit record. God damn it.
Hit recorded. Kipster was running slow on the back side of the track for some reason. But Electric definitely boffed BK. BK now entering the pits. More than likely having to make repairs. As we head back and take a check on Red Rider.
I don't know how I'm supposed to fucking pass him if he doesn't hold his line. I just don't.
You know Red's mad when he's cursing, because he doesn't ever curse.
I know.
He always uses, like, gosh darn it.
BB, if you see this, I'm sorry. I really thought you were there. I don't know what happened.
Now Kipster catching up with Electric ECC. Only 1.2 off pace there. Everybody's pretty well on and spread out now as we wait for times to come in. Nat JB leading the pack over Stolowski by 13 seconds at this point. So again, unless Nat makes some kind of massive mistake or has a problem with one of the back markers, I don't know that we won't see him win today. But fun racing.
How many races has he won in a row?
All of them. All the races.
Yeah. God damn.
Yes, the answer's yes.
Yes. Yep, pretty much.
When was the
Especially
last
since Zorax left. Yeah.
Steadfast. Dan 00 Alpha looking to come up the back, and Dan has sent himself into a spin all alone over in the grass as BK Ferrari makes his way by him. BK bringing up the back of the pack now after getting pushed by Electric. Kipster and McAlpine all on the opening stretch with Electric.
My tires are flat spotted or something. I got no grip now.
McAlpin going mowing has sent himself into a spin now. Off into the grass. Y'all having problems staying on track today. Not even screwing with each other. You're just screwing yourselves up. That's double extra weird.
Ah.
Red Rider coming into the pits.
Come on.
As he has to back up and try not to run
It's
over the guy
not-
with the
we-
sign. You know, it doesn't help that Dock Fork is right in front of the space you have to go to.
It doesn't, no. But, I mean, like, I backed up and still was taking this disaster.
Kipster now running up on the back of Electric ECC. As we try and pull back a little bit. This thing keeps screwing with my cameras. Wait and see if Kipster can make a move on Electric. But taking a look at the boards, everybody is pretty well spread out at this point. Very few battles going. Red we see back there still sitting in the pits. Tick tock, tick tock.
Yeah, I had some damage.
Tick tock, tick tock. But you've also cleared your mandatory, so you are good to go.
Yeah.
Going
plus-
forward. Like, here's the other part of this, too, for Nat JB. And even, I would say, if he were not here, I would even say Stolowski. How is that fun? Seriously, because you're not racing, you're just driving, right? Like, we know Nat's just sitting up there just a tooling. And I'm not
The
just,
fun
I'm not.
part of it comes in where you're trying not to make a mistake.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I mean, we know, obviously, with the pace he maintains, he has to be concentrated. I'm not saying it's boring, right? I'm not saying that he's not. It's not like he's got one hand on the wheel, just kind of tooling around. Not at the speeds he's driving this, but I wonder how it's not like. How do you have fun never being able to battle anybody because you're all the way up front?
Oh, gosh. Come on, tires. Let's get some pressure.
Red Rider with Thorn Geek in front of him.
Yeah, I'm lapped.
Yes, you are, sir.
I let him by because he was coming up on me and I had low pressure.
And Electric has stretched it out a bit in front of Kipster, who is now entering the pits.
Whoa, Thorny.
But they were getting to be about 1.6 apart before that happened.
What's he doing?
And 15 minutes have passed. We'll start seeing some guys decide to take pit stops here soon, I have no doubt. As we go around and try and take a look, McAlpin showing some damage on the back of his vehicle. Let's take a look at Stolowski. Outrunning that Audi today. With the Castrol Edge livery. Number 10. Now 15 seconds off the pace of... Oh, that's what I did, okay. Now 15 seconds off the pace of Nat JB. Muxkuth sitting just 3.6 back from Stolowski. I don't know if that's tightened up or not yet, but take a quick look at the timetables. So if we look at this and compare that with qual times, things have changed quite a bit with Electric now sitting in fourth. Not bad, he qualified in third, right? But Kipster all the way back in ninth, having cleared his pit stop. So I'm sure we'll see him make it back to the front. The other part I don't like
That's
about...
gonna lap Dan and Thorn Geek, who are battling it out right now.
Who is?
Nat is about to lap Dan, who's right behind Thorn Geek,
Yep.
like about a second behind him. They're coming around the last hairpin, it looks like.
Yep, got him. And they've got... Is that BK right in front of him? No, it's not.
It's Dan and Thorn Geek.
Yep. It looks like Dan... Oh, shit. Dan's trying to make the move around the carousel side by side and bumped.
Shit.
They bumped. Watch out.
Dan went like right into him.
Yeah. But luckily, both able to keep control, right? No real issue there. And Dan comes out of the hairpin just ahead. I'm sorry. What in the hell
See,
is
now
going
that's
on?
battling a back marker. That's not what you want to do.
Nat running right between them now. This is where if you're Nat, you get nervous, right? Because you're running so far ahead, but now you've got to play with the guys that are so much slower than you are.
Yeah. Thorne's pretty respectful. I think he'll just let him by.
Yeah, and
there
he
we go.
is, right? He's just letting him cruise. But it's so hard sometimes picking the spot. You can feel
Yeah.
this guy wanting to go fast behind you. You want to give him that space and let him go around, but yet, like, I got to have the right place to do that, dude. I'm not just going to whip it into the grass and play lawnmower for you.
Yeah.
Well, you also have to be on the same page as the guy that's lapping.
Yeah.
Some guy's just like, well, I'm up on you. I'm going around. Well, sorry.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's not going to work out too well for you.
Like, personally, I'm always like, why passing the hairpin? Like, there's got to be other places you could do that, but
No.
that seems to be where everyone wants to pass for some reason. But
Like Dan 00 Alpha now coming up on the back of Thorn Geek as we come around the carousel again. Nat has cleared both of them and has open track in front of him, looks like. Red Rider still running in last. Well,
Mux is
Not
under
for time.
a second on Stolowski, but they still both got a pit.
yeah. I think I just saw Nat has opened that, has opened it up to something like 20 seconds. We see McAlpin now 24 seconds back from Mux Kuth, so obviously nothing there, and both of them needing to pit. I could see a flip depending on if somebody has damage, right? McDaddy
Or
up there
hits
at
the
number
pit box
5.
wrong.
Be curious to see if we have any penalties today for speeding in the pit lane.
This one's pretty straightforward. It's kind of hard to mess it up.
Well, you say that.
It's right there at the edge of the pit wall. If you can't remember that, then
Yeah. Oh,
I don't even think they put a sign at this one. They're like, you just should know by now. It's right here.
Right? Looks like BB Lightfoot's trying to tighten it up on electric right now down to a 1.7. And is going to continue driving. Steadfast had to pit early, but cleared that stop and has gotten himself all the way back up to number 8 because of it. And we'll see if he can hold on to that through this, or move up even more through the rest of these pit stops. BB only 3.8 ahead of him, with electric having cleared his. We'll see how the rest of this goes. Let's go back and check on Red Rider
Back here on a Sunday drive.
in the bright red McLaren. Well, with Chief not racing today, someone had to take up the mantle of last place.
Yep.
And I could not think of a better
Happily.
person.
Yep. One thing I did notice after following BB Lightfoot is the front of this car is way more anchored than those Porsches, apparently. Because I bumped him and it would send him spinning, and it was like I didn't touch any.
Stolowski just a ripping in that Audi now. I mean, he's driving fast, but again, Nat has opened it up to 21 seconds at this point. As we try and take a look back through the pack, Thorn Geek.
Ooh, Dan lost it. Dan went into the grass.
Looks like Nat JB getting around BK Ferrari right before the hairpin. Who lost it?
Dan 00.
Dan 00 dumped out again. Poor little feller.
Can somebody explain to me why these guys over in England don't roll their yards with anything or attempt to make them smoother?
I don't roll my
You get in
yard.
the grass out. You get in the grass out here. It is like you are in the mountain.
Well,
Start catching air.
stop driving in the grass.
Well, that's great. Sometimes it's inevitable.
Well, it rains so
It's all-
fucking much over there, it just grows, and you can never keep up with it.
You're trying to do a safe rejoin, but you can't even tell where the track is because your screen's shaking so hard.
It's true.
And with that, folks, we are halfway through now. Doc Fork has decided to leave the pits? He has.
Huh. Interesting.
Doc Fork has
Well, when
rejoined.
you gotta go.
It's a bold move for him, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him.
Right, 14 laps down, and did not clear his mandatory pit stop.
No, because he never came out of the pits. He's been in the pits
Yeah.
the entire race. Yeah, so he still has to make a pit stop.
Wow. Well, whatever works for you, I guess. Stolowski has now jumped into first with Nat having gone into the pits. We've got Stolowski out front, Mux Kuth in number 2, and Nat in third. But Nat has cleared his pit and is already back out on track. So with Stolowski and Mux Kuth having to still go in, I don't think that'll last too long. There's only 15-second gap between Stolowski and Nat right now. 15 to 16 seconds. McAlpin, McDaddy, and BB Lightfoot still looking to clear their pits as well.
Wow, Dan must have had serious pit stop. I'm no longer in last place.
He's still sitting there.
He was mowing the grass, so. he
And
had to
Dan
go
has
back to the
left.
pits.
Oh, he left.
Yep. And then there were 13. Doc Fork has re-entered the pits. And we'll see if he clears that stop and comes back out, or if he's just going to stay in there.
I said it last time, and I'll say it again. Don't quit. Like, as someone who is frequently last, like, I never quit the race. It's all practice, and if you quit, you're never going to get better.
True.
I'm just going to say that.
I mean, to Doc Fork's credit, I mean, I know we chuckled when we said he's back out 14 laps down, but you know what? And here he comes back out on the track again. Go drive it. Go practice driving in traffic, right? Try not to screw up somebody else's race. You've obviously lost. It doesn't mean the day
Well, he
is
needs
shot.
to practice that, too.
Yeah.
Like, he's not used to being the back marker, so let's see what he does.
Exactly. 100%.
The only other time I can think of, because the only race I quit was when I could not figure out what was on it.
Yeah, like if you're having an equipment problem or something, you know.
I was holding people up. I was going to cause a wreck. I left.
Yeah.
That's the only time I can think of where I'd be like, yeah, you should leave. The rest of the time, you need to get used to being passed, whatever.
And I just made a friend out of Dusty Knots. All right. Working out. Mux Coot coming around now into the hairpin. McAlpin has cleared his pit stop, dropping down through the ranks, but should be on his way out here in just a second. And we will see if Mux swings in. And no, sir, he is staying out on track as Stolowski clears McAlpin in T1 and loses the back end of the Audi just a little bit. I have no idea what that feels like. The Audi is the most stable vehicle on any road, any surface, anywhere. I don't know why the back end of an Audi would ever slide. That doesn't even make sense.
Except on Spa.
Yeah, except everywhere.
Because I seem to recall watching you go pass before toes a couple times.
Yeah, 100%. No, that... You better keep a stiff... And there goes Stolowski now, just spun himself out, hooking the curb.
Stolowski.
As he tries to get himself spun back around. Mux Kuth going on by.
I have a recommendation.
And here comes Nat.
It's meditation.
Here comes Nat, and Stolowski... I mean, Stolowski entered clean, but he's got Nat right on him now. These guys are side by side. This could end up...
This is stressful.
This is very stressful. But again, here's the thing. Stolowski needs to back off and let him have it because he's still got to clear his pit.
Yeah.
Right? There's no... Just let it go, man. It's over. You threw it. It's fine. It's cool. But just let him have it instead of possibly causing an incident, right? And it looks like that's what he did.
Some of these guys like to use those curbs to help them turn, and they try to convince me to do it, and I'm like, I've seen how that bites you occasionally.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
I'll just stick with what I'm comfortable with, sir.
And like some curbs you can and some you can't, and I'm not going to learn the difference, so I'll just stay away from them.
Mux Kuth stays out, but Stolowski has now entered the pits. He will be clearing his stop, and that will leave only Mux and BB Lightfoot to clear their pit stops. With BB, got Kipster right up on the back of him now. 0.3 of a second. We got a battle to watch, finally, after being all spread out through the pit stops. 17 minutes left of a 45-minute race.
It keeps...
Not right now.
Yeah. Ooh, Kipster.
That Castrol livery is nice.
Kipster just bouncing that Audi across the chicane. I just realized that BB, again, this is a situation where looking at your timing screen while you drive is very helpful, because if I'm Kipster, why am I going to play with BB? Right?
Yeah.
I want to get around him, but at the same time, he still has to pit, and I don't. Forget about it. Take your time. I'll go by when you enter the pits, which is right now. Thank you. Problem solved, right? As BB enters, that leaves Mux Kuth out on track as the only person to not clear their mandatory stop, with Nat JB 6.4 behind him. Red Rider has dropped back into 12th position as we watch McAlpine go off track. Alpine. Who's that?
Cat, I will murder you.
Who's
Stop
that in front of you, Red?
Electric. I'm lapped down to him.
Mux Kuth into the pits.
Mux has come in.
I've had an full race, so.
Come on with the camera nonsense now. See if Thorngeek wants to make a play on McDaddy. I like Taints much better than McDaddy. I gotta say it again.
You like Taints?
I'd rather say Taints than Daddy every time I'm talking about these guys driving, I can tell you that.
Well, you just
Taints
combined
has
both
the
of them.
run is my favorite commentary phrase to utter in Green Hell Racing.
Mux Kuth and BB Lightfoot both coming out on track at the same time.
Ah, crap. Now I gotta catch him.
And Thorngeek doing his best to stay up on McDaddy.
Mux came out 4 seconds behind in the pits, which is about what he was before.
Yeah. As we watch, what is the gap with Nat and Stolowski now? Stolowski flipped it and then, or spun it and then went into the pits. Nat must have opened that up as I wait for the time to come in here. But right now, it's McDaddy and Thorngeek down the hill. Just a ripping. And that gorgeous McLaren Sky livery. Thorngeek in the Audi right behind him. Sporting the blue and silver. Number 11. I'm telling you, the helicopter view is the best view for this on the Xbox.
So, third time's a charm?
What are you trying to do?
Oh, you battling BB again?
Apparently.
You're 1.2
And
off.
following his line like in
Oh, BB went into the grass.
Did he?
Oh, solved that.
Red Rider coming up on the back of... Is that electric again?
Uh-huh. Why does he... These people slow down when I don't slow down.
There's too many Sky livery McLarens on track today.
That is not the right entry to that corner for the McLaren, sir.
McDaddy stretching it out a little bit in front of Thorngeek now.
Oh!
8 seconds. As we watch Red Rider live, give us live updates on how his drive is going.
Well, if crap, not low enough. Been a bad day.
Kipster coming up on Steadfast, but they've got a car between them. And McDaddy now opening it up to 1.3 between himself and Thorngeek. As we see McAlpin, though. Yeah, it's Thorngeek, sorry. Just over 10 minutes left in the race today. Stolowski seems to have settled down out there by himself again in second place. And again, Stolowski in the same corner, hooking the curb, and this time bouncing the wall. Caught up with it just in time to see him do it. We'll have to see if he has to go back into the pits now because of it. But it was the exact same place that he did it last time. Hooked that curb and sent it off to the right of the track. At least he's consistent. I don't know. After the first time, I would have quit driving there, but that's me. Mux Kuth now only 1.2 behind Stolowski because of that little incident. We will see if he's able to make a play up here towards the front of the pack before the end of the race. But Stolowski is now... Nat's completed 22 laps. And it looks as though just waiting for these times to come in. God, I hate the timing screens on this. I need plugins for live timing.
Yeah, you like doing all the races now. Wait till they get the PC League up and going, and you have all the stuff at disposal of that. And you're like, you know what? I'm not.
Oh, did I already have it? I got a bunch of apps and stuff. I can provide live timing versus this crap that Stolowski. It hasn't shown me a time for Stolowski behind Nat for half a lap. As we watch Mux Kuth go a little wide there into the dirt. I'm curious to see if
people keep saying some next gen updates coming. I don't know if that's actually going to come.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's supposed to be for the Series X.
Perfect.
But I don't know how
They
well
still
it
will
works.
probably fuck us over. They won't add everything that we should have because
No. A
Why
lot
would
of
you
it's
do that?
limited by Xbox. I get it.
But here's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, some of it. But here's the thing. If you look at some of these external apps like Motec Data and that, it works with Project Cars 2 on the Xbox.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's because that's actually a problem. The developers of Assetto Corps 505,
Okay.
because that's an external stream of something that they don't use for the Assetto Corsa game.
Gotcha.
Because you could use a dashboard app for PC2, and I forget what it runs off of. Somebody, I'm sure, will post it and make me feel like an idiot.
Hmm.
But there's a certain signal it pulls off basically your internet stream and feeds it to your device, whether you're using an iPad or a phone. So I used to use it for that too, but put it in.
But I'm just saying it's possible off the Xbox, so why can't it be in Assetto Corsa? You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a 505.
Yeah. Yes, Stolowski,
They
these
don't
curbs.
seem to use
Maybe
it on their app.
maybe don't
Yeah.
drive on the curbs, Stolowski. And Huff Manic, welcome to the show, buddy. Thanks for joining the stream today. Just trying to watch. McAlpin again, now sticking right with McDaddy up through. I'm just going to call him Mr. Peanut Butter. But then nobody will know who
I
I'm
like how he
talking
was
about.
trash talking me during
Oh, I think he might have been.
drunk driving.
I'm
That
pretty
was
sure
it.
he would have been. I think he was trash talking everybody. As we get under the
Yeah, pretty much.
right down to the 8-minute mark here, we'll see every driver has cleared their mandatory pit. McAlpin does not like how slow McDaddy is driving through that corner, I can tell you that. McDaddy and McAlpin. Do we get a move here? We do around the carousel. McDaddy going wide. And, oh, they bumped again. We're too wide coming up towards the hairpin. Everybody likes to bump each other in the carousel. I'm not sure why. But it looks like McAlpin backed off just a little bit as they both run wide into the
What
grass.
is happening?
I am not sure what's going on here as Nat... Oh, my Lord. McAlpin tries to rejoin right next to Nat and just about clipped him with it. But McDaddy is now well ahead, at least for now, of McAlpin.
That was the worst pass I've ever seen.
I don't know what
That's why
happened
we need
there.
a low light and great ass hats channel.
Like,
I'm just not sure what happened there because they both went wide, and I almost feel like McAlpin wanted to give the spot back because they bumped in the carousel, right? Like it almost felt like he wanted to give the spot back, so he was going to go wide and let him have it. But then, McAlpin just kind of followed him, or McDaddy just kind of followed him out there.
Yeah, I think he was just following him.
It was really
I don't
weird.
think he was running his own line. He was like, oh, shit.
We see up here, up front now, Kipster right on the back end of Steadfast around the carousel. Let's do some racing. Fork and last, what happened? We're not sure, Huff. He started in the pits, sat there for like 14 laps, and then finally started driving again. So
I think
we're
he
not
had to take a shit.
something. We're not
That's
really
what
sure
it
what happened
seemed
to
like.
Fork.
It was about that length of time.
Right? Yeah, if you got a good book or something going. But yeah, it's yeah,
Apparently, you eat a lot more fiber. So,
possibly.
Just trying to catch his buddy. I can keep the gap the same, but I can't quite narrow it.
Doc Fork back in the pits as we watch Kipster runs wide again, trying to chase down Steadfast, and it just did not work out for him.
Chasing down Steadfast is hard.
That's a fool's errand.
Oh, and McAlpin slides it hard through T1, getting hooked on the curb, pulling it. That's what we call pulling the Stolowski. Hooking a curb and throwing back into your car around. As we watch him come around through carousel up towards the hairpin.
Someone else just quit? Oh, Fork.
Fork quit. And through the chicane with Steadfast and Kipster. This is where he really started catching them, so I don't know what Kipster's got going on with that Audi. But down through carousel and the hairpin, he was able to stick right to the back of Steadfast last lap. Red Rider has opened the gap up on BB by 13 seconds.
Well, if I could have
Steadfast
done that
looks like he has
first
to
time, I
drift
had.
through there.
Right? Project Gotham Cars style.
Oh, that was a great game.
I know. I miss it. 3 was the best.
I think if I had another 50 laps, I could get under 130. Like, I can put it together, but not all in one lap.
Sounds like the same problem I have.
I can get the deltas, but I can't get it to all be on the same lap.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite. You see, oh, look, I'm up by 7/10 on my fastest lap, and that's going to put me under this mark, and all right, that's awesome. And then you toss it 3
boom.
corners later.
Yeah.
Because you're a
Oh,
jackass.
That's my breaking point.
And again, we've got, if we
Mine's
drop
other way
back,
around.
McAlpin,
I get to the point where I get nervous and I start over braking. I'm like, I got a good lead. Early.
McAlpin now ahead of McDaddy.
Steadfast cutting through the sand. Kip's going to get a run on him.
Yep.
Side by side.
We're going side by side into carousel. Here we go. And Kipster backs it down a little bit. Oh, but Steadfast cutting in on him.
Steadfast is like literally drifting around those hairpins.
But that would have been on
no
Steadfast
grip.
right there because he cut
Yeah,
hard in on
definitely.
that off his line.
Yeah.
But Kipster able to avoid it and makes the play on the
Keeping
hairpin.
tight.
And now we're going side by side down the start-finish
Drag race.
line. Looks like
Does
that
the
Audi.
have no straight line speed?
Yeah, the Audi's not. Yeah, that's not a straight line car.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't talk about straight lines in Audis. Yeah, you peak out so hard and fast that you're done. So
Yeah.
It's-
Well, that's what happened there.
that's as fast as you're going, and that's just the end of it. And the car tells you to go pound sand somewhere. But still a nice day race. Kipster not giving up. And if Steadfast goes wide again, I think it may play out a little bit differently next time. But again, if we head back to field, McDaddy now, McAlpin, Thorngeek has gotten in the mix, and now we have a 3-car run for 8, 9, and 10 of McAlpin, Thorngeek, and McDaddy. I don't know where Thorngeek came out of because he wasn't mixed. I think McAlpin. And
Well, he's gone
Thorngeek
now,
is
'cause-
sideways in the sand. He was by himself though. Nobody hit him.
No, he just lost it.
Yeah, okay. And takes out a brake marker, so that's awesome.
Aw,
You'll be all right. I don't think it's going to matter to you.
those for the stopping.
Let's take a look back up here at Kipster. Steadfast and Kipster coming up on the black marker Red Rider right now. Through the carousel and up to the hairpin to start lap number 28 or 29. We haven't seen any more trouble with Stolowski, so.
When everybody starts yelling if I don't make pro this year, I'm going to save like all these races lapped by the pros when it was mixed. Be like, really, guys? Really?
Well,
Yeah, really.
You just have to adjust the number of sandbags you bring next season, that's all.
Lower my order next season.
Right. Yeah.
Leader on the final lap.
Leader, final lap. Here we go. Right now, the
Oh,
only push.
Steadfast.
Steadfast wide, and Kipster takes advantage and is around and gone. And in the that should be their final lap
The
too.
only person that's patient enough to pass Steadfast. Oh god.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Red Rider
He just
has
waited for him to make a mistake.
Talking.
And unfortunately, he didn't take him that long. I mean, they've been battling for, 2 or 3 laps. Watch yourself, Red, on the right.
Yeah, I'm trying to let him go. I slid off.
Oh, Red.
Oh!
Really, dude?
People talking. My bad.
Well, there's a replay. Boy, I don't feel bad about tapping you on Bathurst anymore, I can tell you that. That poor kid can't even drive
wasn't
anymore.
on purpose at all.
Well, I didn't hit you on purpose either, you jerk.
Well, no. I got. Back it was over.
McDaddy and McAlpin going to battle right to the last minute. Down through the chicane into carousel now.
I should just go into broadcasting.
That's what I did. I figured out how terrible I was at racing and just said, you know what? It's probably better if I just watch.
There's a lot less rage up here with Molson and I. I'll just let you know that.
And there it is, folks. Nat JB has crossed the line and won 45 minutes at Donington as we watch some other guys. BK, Ferrari, McAlpin, and McDaddy finishing in 7, 8, and 9. And those guys made it very interesting towards the end, running together. McAlpin, McDaddy, and Thorngeek. BB Lightfoot crossed in number 12. Let's go take a look at Stolowski, see if he's going to hook any more curbs for us today. With Mux Kuth still right on him, too. Mux Kuth's just driving saying, hook a curb, hook a curb, hook a curb. I dare you.
Oh, man. Kip breaks, and then Red says, fuck you.
Yeah,
Right
that was
into
the plan.
Poor Red.
Well, I mean, he does break pretty early for that corner, it looks like. But
Well, I'm not going to make excuses. I still should have let him go. Wasn't on purpose.
No,
I was just trying to get a better line.
Oh, no,
I'm
you
watching
did let him
this
go.
time.
It's just then you
I
decided
was
to
trying
keep
to
up
get
with
back
him.
in line to make the corner.
Yeah.
yeah, and he was slamming on his brakes, and you were not.
But, I think the same thing's happened to me before where again, I'm a back marker. I let somebody by, and then as I drift back over to get on my line for the corner, they brake a lot earlier than I think I need to. And I do the same thing,
Yes.
right? So I get it. And they're taking a look, folks. Nat JB, Stolowski, and Mux Kuth, Electric, and Steadfast rounding out your top 5. Kipster, number 6, BK Ferrari, McAlpin, McDaddy, and Thorngeek for the top 10. And as we finish out, Red Rider, BB Lightfoot, Dan 00 Alpha, Doc Fork, and Pierre. That's your field for today. 15 drivers, 12 finishers. And that is the end of the British versus German season for Green Hell Racing.
Can we celebrate now?
I think so.
Yeah, you guys have fun in that chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sit upstairs and watch it. It's gonna be a blast. Red, let me know if you need replays, sir.
I will. Just
I grabbed a
whatever
couple.
you got that I screwed up.
I grabbed the one you asked me to, and I grabbed the one with the Kip there. If he doesn't upload it, I can get it to you. But we all know what happened there. I mean, somebody's gonna watch this and go, yeah, I don't need a clip.
Yeah, I would assume, but
Somebody's gonna look at it and go, yeah, I don't need a clip. I'm good.
yeah, right.
Thanks to everybody in the chat that joined the stream today. Again, if you do race with Green Hell, be Be sure to watch out today for the new season coming. There's going to be new time trials you have to do to qualify for Pro or AM, and a new season format and a new points format. So pay attention to that on the Discord today. And again, overall, I thank you all for joining, and I will be back with more race coverage when these guys tell me they're going to start driving again. Thank you, folks.